How you guys doing? It's your boy Sel. Welcome to my channel, your channel, where we become friends over finance. Now look, today we're going to talk about the ways you can make passive income as much as $100 a day, right? I'm going to share 4 ways that I know that you can implement into your lifestyle, into your financial situation, and that can help you. Now look, I ain't no financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube, but I'm giving you from experience what has worked for me, and from my knowledge what I think can work for you. But do your own due diligence. As always, I tell people to look into finance from their own perspective. I'm giving you a glimpse from my point of view, but it might be different for you from your outset, because everyone has different situations or circumstances that can hinder or kind of enhance what they make. Now, look, passive income it's a great idea or a great feeling or a great notion that there's this amount of residual income that comes into account every single day. It allows you the freedom of time. It allows you flexibility. It allows you to pretty much do things at your own schedule, and it gives you that kind of how to say it kind of releases you from this corporate rat race that many people are stuck in, because you don't have to work if you've got income coming in monthly, if that makes sense. If you've got enough money coming in that covers your expenditure, then you probably work from a sense of passion than just doing it for the sake of it. So obviously you have to know the reason why you want passive income, because that will really help you. If you have a why, it will help you get to your goal quicker. If you don't, probably say sit down and think about why you want that $100 a day or £100 a day. So it's going to give you a purpose. Anyway, let's move on. Passive income is a great idea. You get money coming in for an investment. Now, most of the times that investment is a capital investment. The number one, or the first one, not it doesn't need to be number one, it's the first one that I know of, is stock market. Now, not just any particular stock, or just put some money into the S&P 500 or the FTSE 100, but primarily dividend stocks. Now, dividend is basically a form of payment that shareholders receive for the capital they've invested into that public listed company. See it as a way of the company giving you a return of your ownership towards the company, a percentage of the profits. So if the company makes a lot of profit and they've got a lot of cash reserves and it's extra than what they need, then hey, they might give a bit back to the shareholders to keep them happy, to say thank you. That's dividends. Basically, it's a company paying a little bit from, not the whole amount of profit, but just paying a little bit from the profit for you to enjoy and keep you motivated or incentivize you to stay with them. Now, dividend stocks, the yield that you get. So yield is basically, if you invest $100 and you get $1, that's a 1% return. If it's a 5% yield, that means on 100 you're going to get a $5 return. This is per year. Now, dividend stocks, you can either go for the ones with a high yield, or you can go for the ones with a low yield. Now, the high yield, it sounds like the better option, because you're just going to put in money and get more return, right? But the problem is, the higher yield stocks, they might underperform in the future because they're giving too much out in profits, and they are not keeping enough for the company to grow, to innovate, to spend towards research and development, to attack different branch out into different countries or expand their operations. They might stunt the growth there. So for example, the share price is $100 and you're getting a 5% yield. That's $5. In 10 years time, the share price for that company might be only $50. Now you're getting 5%, it's only $2.50. So in reality, in real terms, you've actually reduced the amount of money you make per year after a decade. Whereas a lower yielding company that might be giving 2-3%, it sounds low, but they'll have more money to invest into the future, into their business growth. It's more of a stable amount that they can provide consistently without, like things that happen now. COVID happened, Things can happen that can cause the economy to slow down, but if it's a small yield, they can still continue to persevere through these bad economical times, which helps in the stock price. If a company stops paying dividends all of a sudden, what do you think is going to happen to the stock price? It's just human psychology. They're just going to crash the market. But if the company still maintains to pay in like bad situations or bad economical situations, that's seen as a favorable position, and the stock market will respond to that company in a good way. So it will be better for you because your total net worth will be more, and then the percentage yield that you get, like say your value of your stocks go from 100 to like 180, you're gonna get more money now per year. So dividends are probably the most purest passive income because you don't run the business, you don't run the workers, you don't do no cleaning, you don't do no admin work, no marketing. Basically, you don't do any operations, the day-to-day operations of a business. You don't do all this, but you get the money coming in every year. However, in order to make $100 a day, that's $3,000 a month, $36,000 a year. You're gonna need around 1.2 million invested at 3%. That's gonna give you that kind of return. So I don't think many people have that much amount of money just sitting there. Especially you probably don't have that lying around. So it might not be like something that's gonna help change your life tomorrow, but if you put in, as they say, dollar cost averaging, where you put in money every month, $100, $150, whatever you can afford, and then after 20 years with the power of compounding, that investment may be worth for half a mil or a mil, depending on what rate it compounds at. But the S&P 500 has compounded at around 10% a year. If you reinvest the dividends, it probably take you about 30 years if you invest like $400-500 a month to reach that 1.1 million pot of cash. When then it can give you $100 a month, the $100 a day, and then it can probably like help you in having that kind of easier life. So the first one is the stock market, specifically dividends. The second one is REITs, real estate investment trusts. Is simply same as stock market. So, but instead of the underlying asset being the business, the underlying asset of the REIT is basically, or that REIT controls is real estate. It's property, it's apartments, it's duplexes, it's flats, it's commercial buildings. All these is basically a way for you to invest in the real estate market without having a huge amount of lump sum, without doing any maintenance, without working with tenants. You don't want to have a tenant phone you and like go through like about 4 a.m. in the morning and say to you like the boiler's not working or the pipes are leaking. You don't get none of this headache. You just put in money into the REIT, and it's like everyone piles their money together, and the managers of the REIT, they invest it into the best real estate that they believe will have a good capital appreciation and that will give you good rental income. Now, REITs are required to give 90% of the rental income they make back to you as shareholders. So the return that you get on a monthly or yearly basis will be higher than the stock market, because businesses and companies, think about it, the stock businesses and companies, when they make a profit, they don't expect to give it back to everyone, because they want to grow that profit. If you follow what I'm saying, because businesses want to grow, the number of stores, the number of customers, where they operate. So it's not, they don't really think of giving it all back to you as shareholders, hence the yield is lower. Whereas in a REIT, the underlying asset is a real estate investment or property, and like the property just gives you income. So the main purpose of setting up a REIT is to get high cash flow. So REIT is a really good one. You can research online depending on where you live to see what's the kind of REITs that are good for your country or for your situation. Now you can also get like a REIT ETF, where it's like a mixture of REITs, so it diversifies you and protects you from any risk, because you might invest in one REIT where they have 100 apartments or 1,000 apartments, but in a specific area, and if that area has like an economical downturn, it can probably affect your cash flow. But if you get an ETF of REITs like in different areas of your country or even in different countries, then you kind of reduce your risk. It depends on your kind of how do I say, your profile. Like, are you more risk averse, or are you, you know, you want to play a bit safe, or you want to take a bit more risk? Like, it depends on your kind of tolerance to risk. So that's something you can like decide yourself. Like, I'm okay with risking, you know, 5% of my net worth on this if it gives me maybe 20% more return than say this, where I'm putting less money but I'm not going to get much more return. That's completely up to you. Now, REITs is a it's a really good really good investment strategy to also achieve passive income. And it's also not overnight. It will take you time, but the yields can be higher. It can be like 5%, 6%. The drawbacks is that with a REIT, you, unlike a mortgage, you can't really leverage. So traditionally, you know, if you go get a house yourself, you can leverage it. But with a REIT, it's just your pure cash that's working. So there's no leverage in that. But hey ho, you can't expect everything good in life. And third is, as I was just talking about, is if you don't want pure passive income, but you're willing to put a little bit of elbow sweat or grease into your work. um, Elbow sweat, okay, I'm a bit getting off topic. So then it's property income, rental income. So you put a deposit down. If you got a good credit history, you got the money for a deposit or a down payment, you put a deposit down, you get a property, you pay the mortgage and all your maintenance costs, and then you get your rental income. You can look to get like a 15% return a year on your money if it's leveraged. So it's a multiple figure of REITs and stock market dividend stocks, but it requires a bit more work. It's not completely passive. You might have to spend, you know, a couple of hours a month in making sure the house is maintained, in making sure that there's no problems with the tenants, making sure the rent is not going into arrears, making sure that the interest rates that you got for your mortgages, like every year or how long your period is looked at on a regular basis. All these nitty gritties you need to make sure you look into. So, or if the property needs some maintenance or something breaks down, you know, you're the focal point of call. You got to make sure that you're up for that. So most people, I think, are okay with that. They've got the time to just spend 5-10 hours a month on keeping that going. And the benefit is that you can leverage the bank's money, so you can put a little bit of money and get a huge return. So if the capital asset, the property appreciates, say by 100%, you keep all that 100% appreciation, even though the bank's giving you the money to leverage. So the benefit of that is, you know, long term, you can see amazing results. And I've personally done this, and I believe with the leverage, it was amazing. So rental income, it's amazing. There's a lot of strategies in rental income where instead of making 15% yield, you can make 20-30% yield a year if you multi-let it, if you let it out per room, if you utilize Airbnb and make your house a hotel. But that's things that are more, not complex, but require a bit more creativeness. But you can go down that route, and if you're making 30% return on your investment, it only requires $100,000 investment to make $30,000 a year, which is about $100 a day. So $100,000 investment compared to 1.2 million. Can you see the difference? Like, yes, this 1.2 million in dividend stocks requires no work, but yes, this 100k requires work, but it's only about 20-30 hours a month. It might be a good trade-off for your situation. And the final one, it is quite risky, or it's, we say that because it's new kind of asset class that we aren't really familiar with. But it could be embarking onto a journey of a really found, like a really core asset that will change how we see the future, and that's cryptocurrency. You know, technology has always helped humans evolve and do things at a faster rate. So cryptocurrency is basically a technology blockchain that kind of aims to change the way we operate or we live. And if that actually happens, that's a huge asset that's going to be growing, and it becomes widely accepted. You're going to see some great returns. But look, this is about passive income. So, buying some cryptocurrencies and waiting for a few years for it to rise or make a flip, that's not passive income. However, cryptocurrency does have a kind of passive income uh, um, model within its whole market, and it's called staking, where you actually stake your coins on through a medium or through a platform. So your coins are locked for a certain time, like a one year period, same as a savings account. So you stake your coins, and in return, they pay you like 5 to 6%, even 8% per year. Now, let me repeat that: they pay you 5 to 8% per year, and they pay you in the coin or in the currency that you staked. So, for instance, if you, for example, staked one Bitcoin, yeah, that's 50, 60, $50,000. Um, it's around 50,000, and they paid you 8%. So, of one Bitcoin, they paid you 0.08. So, they gave you 0.08 Bitcoin after a year. But if you look at it now, 0.08 Bitcoin, it's 0.08 Bitcoin, it's $4,000. But what if next year or in a few years that asset Bitcoin 10x's? So what if Bitcoin from 50,000 jumps to 500,000? Then instead of getting $4,000, you'd be getting $40,000 with pretty much a $50,000 investment, because you can get a Bitcoin now for about 45, 50,000 for one, but 8% return. They pay you in the coin. They don't pay you in dollars or pounds or euros. They pay you in the coin that you staked. But if that coin's value appreciates over time and that asset becomes widely accepted, then you probably can be making like 100% return on investment every single year from one investment. It is risky. It is something that we don't know, because it's the future. We don't know what's going to happen, but it could be a gamble to play, that if you have some, like 1% of your net worth or 0.5%. I can't really advise you because I don't know your situation, but it's a game that I'm playing, and maybe you can play it too. If you think that you are willing to, say, lose 10k or 1k, that's something that you can lose, or you're happy with losing that if it does go bust. But the possibility is that it can give you 100% return on investment every single year if the market itself 10x's in the next 5 years. Then that's something that you have to think about. But achieving passive income is not something that happens overnight. It's not something that you wake up and you just rub this lamp and this genie just gives you like 1.2 million and you can buy dividend stocks. But it's possible. It's achievable. It starts with little steps towards, a retirement. Think of it as a retirement. I believe that you need to take your financial situation in your own hands, because not everyone's going to help you. The government or your employer or your family, although they might help you, it is in your best interest to take the steering wheel and steer it in the right direction. So take a few steps, learn about investing. It doesn't need to be a crazy amount. It could be a few £100 or a few $100 a month, and then see how you grow from there. Like in 20, 30 years, what I can guarantee you is the value of your investment will be more if you say buy like a ETF or a mutual fund of S&P 500. You're pretty much betting that the economy of the US economy will be better in 20 years than now. And if the US economy grows, then I can guarantee you that your asset value will be more than now, and it will give you a good yield. So look, if you really like this video, Make sure to hit the like button, because that helps me a lot with the YouTube algorithm, because then they can recommend this to other people, and it allows my video to get higher in the search rankings, which in return makes me happy. And it allows me to make better content for you guys and understand what you guys like and what you guys don't like, so I can tailor content for you guys that is like more meaningful, right? It's no point making videos that you guys don't feel with or vibe with. But I'm gonna make more videos about financial freedom, how to get, how to become wealthy, how to achieve financial freedom, all about passive income, and we can maybe be friends over finance. So until next time, I'm gonna leave you guys to it. Peace.